The Evolution and Future of CHD Treatment. Episode 2, Part 1, Early Innovation. In the early 20th century, a diagnosis of congenital heart disease, CHD, was effectively a death sentence. Most children born with complex heart defects died within the first year of life, often without a clear understanding of what had gone wrong. Autopsy studies revealed malformed hearts, but there were no tools, training, or courage to intervene. The medical field lacked imaging tools, bypass machinery, and even surgical precedent. Children were labeled blue babies, a term that captured the cyanosis but none of the cause. They were often misdiagnosed with pneumonia, malnutrition, or failure to thrive. In 1907, Canadian physician Dr. Maude Abbott began to shift this trajectory. Her meticulous autopsy records and congenital heart catalogs laid the foundation for future understanding. She published the Atlas of Congenital Cardiac Disease in 1936, a resource still revered today. Still, the system was unprepared. Pediatric cardiology didn't exist as a specialty. Pathologists and general practitioners cared for CHD children, without the support of pediatric surgeons, let alone interventional cardiologists. Meanwhile, mortality was staggering. The average life expectancy for a child born with HLHS, DORV, or TGA was just days to months. Entire hospital wings were devoted to palliative care, not curative treatment. Hope lived in journals, not in clinics. But the groundwork was quietly being laid, for anatomy to meet ambition, and for impossible to become possible. Yet a few bold milestones emerged. In 1938, Dr. Robert Gross performed the first successful surgical ligation of a patent ductus arteriosus, PDA, in a 7-year-old girl at Boston Children's Hospital. This was the first operation to treat a congenital heart defect, now considered the world's first pediatric cardiac surgery. It proved that even without a bypass machine, structural defects could be repaired. The PDA ligation would quietly set the stage for the far more visible breakthroughs that followed, reminding the field that pediatric heart disease was not only diagnosable, it was, in rare cases, operable. Brave catheters and the birth of CHD diagnostics, 1930s, 1940s. Before we could fix a heart, we had to see inside it. In the 1930s, a young German surgical intern named Dr. Werner Forssmann inserted a catheter into his own arm and advanced it into his right atrium, proving that internal cardiac access was possible without surgery. It was reckless. It was revolutionary. And it laid the groundwork for modern cardiology. By the 1940s, Dr. Andre Cornend and Dr. Dickinson Richards refined Forssmann's idea into a repeatable diagnostic tool. Using right heart catheterization, they measured pressures, diagnosed congenital defects, and mapped blood flow abnormalities, finally unlocking the ability to distinguish between types of CHD with clarity. This was more than a new tool, it was a new lens. Cardiac catheterization became the first non-surgical window into the living human heart, and it would go on to become an indispensable part of CHD diagnosis, surgical planning, and interventional treatment. In 1956, Forssmann, Cornend, and Richards shared the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine, not for curing heart disease, but for giving the world a way to understand it from the inside out. But the groundwork was quietly being laid, for anatomy to meet ambition, and for impossible to become possible.